Hi, my name is Jennifer. Today I'm going to teach you to make a set of ruffled pillowcases. Let's get started. Let's take your kit out of the bag. Not all kits will come with lace. That was an option at the time of purchase. If you purchase the kit with lace, you will have two pieces. You will also have two ruffled pieces. Take care with these as you unfold them so that you don't pull the seams and lose the ruffle. Your kit also comes with two pillowcase bodies. These are approximately 44 inches wide and 27 inches long. King-size pillowcase bodies are 44 by 36. Take a moment and make sure you can tell the difference between the right or pretty side of the fabric and the wrong side of the fabric. This can be a bit of a challenge with white printed fabrics. Set everything aside except for one pillowcase body and one ruffle. Place the pillowcase piece right side up with the widest section, 44 inches, going from left to right. Place the ruffled piece with the pretty or right side down, matching the sections carefully and keeping them straight. Place a pin every 6 inches or so, making sure that the edges remain even and that you are not pulling the stitching out of the ruffle. At your sewing machine, determine where the 5/8 inch mark is. This is the guide you will follow for the entire project. The ruffles are stitched at a 1/2 inch, so your stitching will be just under it. Sew slowly, removing pins as you get close to them. Never sew over pins. You can damage your machine or worse, yourself. Backstitch a few stitches at the beginning and end to ensure that your stitches don't come undone. Double check periodically to make sure that your edges are still even and flat. Take your time. I suggest taking the time to finish your seams. This can be easily accomplished with a zigzag stitch just along the edge of the fabric. Backstitch a few stitches at the beginning and end to hold your stitches in place. You may also finish your seams with pinking shears, as shown. When you have finished sewing the ruffle, go to your iron and lay the piece down, pretty side up. Flip the ruffle down with the seam you just sewed facing up away from the bottom of the ruffle. Iron and smooth across the pillowcase, giving it a gentle tug to keep the seam nicely flat. You will be able to feel the seam as you iron. Make sure that it remains flipped up and continue ironing until you reach the end. Go back to your machine and place the outer edge of the presser foot even with the edge of the pillowcase body. Top stitch across, taking your time and checking from time to time to ensure that the ruffle seam is still flipped up and that your ruffle isn't getting caught in the top stitch seam. This is an important step as it adds to the overall quality and professional look of your piece. If your kit came with lace, return to your table and pin the lace in place. I prefer to place the edge of my lace on top of this top stitching just made. This makes for an easy visual guide to keep your lace straight. However, if you prefer, you can pin your lace higher on the pillowcase body or lower on the ruffle. It is a matter of personal preference. Return to your sewing machine and begin stitching the lace in place, going slowly and taking time to double check that it remains straight. Continue to the end, backstitching to hold everything in place. Once your lace is in place, place your pillowcase on your table and pin it with the right or pretty sides together. Start at the corner and line your edges up carefully. Pin in place and continue across to the edge. Now go to the ruffle and make sure both sides are lined up and pin. Pin down to the end of the ruffle, making sure that the ends are as perfectly lined up as you can get them. You may need to give a slight tug to make them meet evenly. Now pin the remaining long side of the case, taking care to make sure the edges remain even. If you like, you can use wonder clips for this step. It is a matter of personal preference. At your sewing machine, stitch the short side. This is the top of the pillowcase. As before, this will be a 5/8 inch seam. Backstitch at the beginning and end as always. Now stitch down the long length of the pillowcase. Go slowly and double check that your edges remain even and your stitches remain at a constant 5/8 inch. When you come to the ruffle, flip it up and make sure the seams are matched and not crumpled or folded. This is a thick seam, so go slowly and let your machine's feed dogs do the work of sewing over this seam. Continue to the end, taking time to make sure that the hem is laying flat and doesn't get turned up or folded under the presser foot. As you can see, the hem on my case was about to get folded down. Because I was going slowly, I was able to catch that before it happened. Finish your seams as before with a zigzag stitch or with pinking shears. Of course, if you have a serger, you can finish your seams with that. Turn your pillowcases right side out and give yourself a big pat on the back. You did it!